Hello Exiles, we have upcoming changes and improvements for Path of Exile 2. I'm right now on Path of Exile website, so let's talk about the upcoming changes and improvements. We have gameplay features. Like we mentioned last week, we'll adding the capacity to fast travel between checkpoints within an area. Perfect, for me it's great. We have a map in Act 2 before the ascendance in the trial, and we needed checkpoints there. So I'm giving just one example. We also be making passive points respecting cheaper, especially at higher levels. And this was one of the main complaints from the gamers, since they are balancing some skills and builds and getting some nerfs. And the players that is already in the end game, they are really frustrating that they have to respect all the points, and the cost is too high. So they listen to you guys. So curve getting more expensive with carrot level. We have flattened that curve so it doesn't exponentially grow as much. This should generate result in approximately 40-50% less gold cost for respecting between the start and middle of endgame progression. Great. We have also, regarding the trial, players were finding trial particularly frustrating close range, so we are rework how honor damage scales when it close range, as well as fixing an important bug that was causing players to take far too much honor damage from damage over time. So we have fixes here regarding damage over time, so this is really good for melee classes. We have a fixed bug where damage over time. Skeleton Golem no longer use basic attacks, instead now just explode. Serpent Claws Burrow and Ambushed attack now has improved visual telegraphics, and Volcanus creates Future Slam now lasts half the duration. Now we have endgame and monster balance. General the balance in endgame maps was more punishing than intended, so we have toned down the damage in a number of ways and disabled a certain on that effect where telegraphing was not as clear as it should have been. Maps no longer have additional element resistance penalty. It will apply at tier 6 and tier 11 or higher maps. It is now consist across all of the endgame. Great. Chaos damage now also scales less aggressive over the endgame. Critical strikes from monsters now deal 40% less bono damage, 40% is a lot. Lower the baseline monster density of breach encounters. Disable the volatile crystals modifier. We'll revisit this in the future pending telegraphing improvements. Properly explosive created by the volatile plants modifier on random monsters now deal significantly less damage. And the Siphon Flask charges modifier or monsters now drain 10 times less flask charges per second. Regarding the characters and item balance, we have made charge modifiers on belts substantially more common and now appear at much lower level, great. Electrocute is now 20% harder to build up, and I think this is for the monk lightning build. Be careful, all the monks. I'm one of them, but I'm using the ice. And for those who says the game is too slow, I will share with you a video. I will leave the credits, of course, on the video description for the monk. Just take a look and you see how fast this build is.
I will take out your heart and savor each bite.
Man, as you could see, the build is crazy. So they add a new lightning damage and electrical cluster to the passive tree in between the ranger and monk section. Yeah, I told you about the monk. It is now more difficult to change freeze enemies. Oh man, it's affecting me. I'm using the freeze. By reducing the amount of freeze build-up applies after a freeze has been applied. The Hunter's Element notable now grants +1 charm slot. The small passive skills leading up to now grants the state it formerly gave. Regarding the skill and sport gem balance, since launch we have unfortunately had to nerf a few skills that were too overpowered. Yeah, I got it. How do you define the overpower? This is important. Basically, is a situation in which a certain skill is so powerful that players feel no other methods or playing the game is viable. Man, I think this is the right way. Okay, I totally agree with them. Generally speaking, we are trying to do this in a way that doesn't make a build bad. Yeah, they should Be careful with that, but we can make mistakes. Of course you can. Any truly meta-shifting change will only happen at the same time as content patch with a new league to play in. But that doesn't mean we haven't been looking at underpower skill and support gems. We have gotten a number of change planned, so be prepared, we'll have a lot of change coming next. We have got a number of change planning which should improve some of these skills. The full list of change will be in the patch note, but here's a sample of what you can expect. Let's check some examples. Improvements to rolling slam and all shield skills in Mei section. Yeah, this is what I want to talk about in the warrior. Improvements to various bolt skills, especially the skills used to generate frames in charge. Improve to bone spells and KO damage overtime spells in the occult section. Improvements to various crossbow skills, especially those at higher tiers. Improve to some of the underachieving quarterstaff abilities. Alongside all of these skills gem improvements, we have also done a pass over the support gems. We have had 2 new supports and remove or lessens the penalty on many others, notably the fire, lightning and cold X for the supports. So we have here the support gems, some examples. Add the tremor support gems, which can be used to give up multiple or more aftershocks to skill with a damage penalty. Added the binding support gem, which can be used to give more damage to the command skills of support and minions. The fiery exposure, lightning and colds gems no longer penalize damage of supported skills. They now have a mana cost multiplier of 120%. Okay, now no longer penalize the damage of supported skills, but now have a mana cost. Okay, I got it. And there are also some notable nerfs to a few of the remaining overachieving skills. Let's take a look. Skeleton Arsonist Spirit cost now match the other 2 Skeleton Mage. Okay, got it. It's good to have a balance here. A nerf to the damage overtime component on very high levels of Tornado and Vine Arrow. And for the last, Magnetic Salvo now can only use your stuck lightning arrows as opposite to those created by your party members. For the end, we have, as wind down for the holiday season, happy holiday season for everyone. We want to thank you all for our most thankful lunch so far. We could not have it done without all of your support. Yes, for sure. A lot of our team will begin to take some needed rest. Yeah, they need it over the next few weeks. So this is like the last patches and improvement before the holidays, but we look forward to getting back in the new year refreshed and ready for an exciting year of development. So happy holidays, Exiles from the developers and also from me. Let me know what you think about this upcoming change, if you agree with some or not, or any other suggestions you have, share with me on the comments. Okay, and see you in the next video, Exiles. Take care.